Hello, stream. Ooh, that's quite loud. Let me turn that down. Oh, hopefully that's a little better. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to scare anybody, but here we are. So let's scoot on over. Oh, hello. What's up, nerds? Welcome to the no podcast stream, I guess. So, yeah, tonight we're going to be looking at some of the patch notes. I have not read any of them, so it is going to be very knee-jerk reaction-esque. So we'll see how things go. We'll probably take a look at the trailer again, maybe look at the Lifeweaver trailer. I do have Overwatch in the background. I don't know if we'll actually play tonight, just because of the fact that, you know, I don't know if we'll get to it because I can only stream a certain amount of time, and there's a lot to get through before next week. So let me see. Let me turn that off. Yeah, there we go. You guys couldn't hear it, but I could still hear it, so it was driving me nuts. We do got the music going on in the background, which is, okay for now. If it gets too disruptive, I may change it, but, we're making it up as we go along tonight. So, I guess first up is the thing I promised and the thing I want to get to the most. So we are going to take a look at the patch notes. So let's this is the one thing I didn't get set up, so let's do this real quick. Let's add me in. Of course you would do that. Sorry, I have a bit of a runny nose. I will try to keep that to the minimum, but it is allergy season, so I will do the best I can with that. Alright, so what if I put myself up in this corner? This is typically the corner that we roll with. We can remove the background, and then now you can see me. Hopefully. I am paying attention to chat, so if you have any questions or comments about anything we read, feel free to chime in and, let us know. If you're watching this live, if you're checking this out on YouTube, thank you. Please like, comment, subscribe, all that general nonsense YouTubers have to do to raise the analytics. All right, so let's get started. A new patch will be going live on all platforms Tuesday, April 11th. Read below for the latest changes. Share your feedback, blah, 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 blah. All right, Overwatch 2 Season 4. Fight for a better future in Season 4. Our newest support hero, Lifeweaver, who hails from Thailand and wields BioLite, enters the fray. Take combat to the cosmos with the new battle pass featuring Mythic Space Conqueror Sigma, and earn free rewards and events happening throughout the season. So we'll be talking about those events as we go along, I'd assume. If not, we'll get to them in the trailer. Alright, introducing Lifeweaver, scientist, artist, and activist. Overwatch 2's latest hero entwines the beauty of nature with the practicality of science. He dreams of healing the world. Alright, so we will skip Lifeweaver for now. I did want to read the intro to him, but we'll skip his stuff for now because we will probably come back to him in like a separate portion. So let's move on. General updates. This patch is a rebase and will require a large download for all platforms. Actually, if you haven't noticed, it is in the background downloader right now. So if you have that active, you can download the patch and have it all ready to go for the 11th. So I strongly encourage you to re-download it because it is a fairly large patch. I didn't catch exactly the amount, but I did see that it was taking quite a while to climb up. And I have fairly decent internet, so Accessibility added a setting to select custom colors for health, armor, shields, and overhealth in health bars. Improved preview feature for custom color settings with different preview backgrounds. If you are colorblind, this is amazing. I am partially colorblind, so if you've ever seen the clips or watched me play, you'll notice that our team is a blue, while the enemy team is yellow because I have trouble seeing the red because I am red-green colorblind. So this doesn't affect me too much, but it is nice to change, that kind of stuff. And I can see some reds and I can see some greens, so I'm not super red-green colorblind, but so I can see overhealth and stuff. Like, it doesn't just not show up for me. So I wouldn't have to change that. But this, more accessibility is always a good thing. Stranded spawn system. So I assume this is going to be the thing they talked about where you get stuck in bad spawns, which is actually kind of tactical. So let's read what they have to say. Regrouping with your team after getting stranded in a spawn room has never been easier. Spawn rooms that shut down due to capturing or losing an objective will now remain partially active for 7 seconds. While you still can't change heroes in these spawn rooms, other new features have been activated in these stranded spawn rooms. The doors remain locked to the opposing team. The healing field remains active, and you can now use the interact key to instantly teleport to the new active spawn room. Okay, so pushing spawns at this point has no effect. I'm not sure how I feel about that, because that kind of was one of the key things that separated good teams from bad teams. Like, you could really, like Gibraltar is a good example, and they've kind of gotten away with it from this in the newer maps a little bit. It can happen on what is it? Is it Esperanza? No, Esperanza is the push map. Paricio, Paricio. That one isn't as bad, but it could still happen on that one as well. But yeah, like Gibraltar is a big one. Kings Row is another big one that can happen on. So, that just won't happen anymore. So I'm curious to see how that plays out. I think it will make the second point contest on those types of maps a little harder for attacking teams and a little easier for defensive teams, especially Gibraltar. Like, Gibraltar's second point is already pretty rough to attack if you get stalled out. So you take every advantage you can get. So we'll have to see how this plays out. Matchmaking. Backfilling players in unranked modes will now prioritize finding players closer to the skill level of other players in the match. Minor optimizations for large groups, improving matchmaking quality. So this is stuff that they talked about in kind of like that matchmaking blog. Not too much I really have to say about that too much. So competitive updates. Here we go for all you comp ladder jockeys. Top 500 leaderboard eligibility. Players will now be required to win 25 competitive games before being eligible to enter the top 500 leaderboard for a specific role, queue, or region. Developer comments. Previously, we only required 25 games to be completed, regardless of winning, prior to becoming eligible for the top 500 leaderboards. However, this change should make sure that players are consistently pushing towards winning matches, which should help ensure the leaderboards have the best players in each region. I am absolutely not top 500, not even close. I'm maybe top, 50,000, maybe, 500,000, maybe. But I do obviously watch streamers. I do kind of know what is going on with this, and them making this change is good, because there are certain people on the leaderboard right now that have like 25 games played, and that's it, and they're like rank 100 or 150 and stuff. So that kind of needed to be changed. Competitive lever penalty changes. Matches left in different competitive queues are still considered separate for the purpose of determining the lengths of suspensions or receiving a seasonal ban from competitive play. The start of a new competitive season also no longer fully resets the severity of these suspensions and bans. This should hopefully prevent players from leaving competitive games at the end of a season without facing meaningful consequences at the start of the next. Matches left in competitive play will also have a more negative effect on the player's skill tier and division after the 5-win competitive update. So they're clamping down hard on levers. This is actually something that went all the way back, to obviously the start of Overwatch 2, but even partially in Overwatch 1, where at the end of the season, just nobody cared. So they would leave, they would throw, and then new season would come around, and as long as they weren't perma-banned, they would just go about their business. So it's good to see that they are hard clamping down on competitive levers, and the fact that they even mentioned that it'll affect your skill tier is really interesting, because you used to always get hit with a penalty if you left a game regardless. So the fact that they point that out makes me think that it's going to be even more detrimental. So that's really good. Competitive point reward challenges, or changes, I guess. Reading is hard, man. Now I know why so many streamers stumble over it. The number of competitive points rewarded for a win in competitive play has been changed from 15 to 25. So you get a little bit more for winning. The number of competitive points earned from seasonal challenges based on your final seasonal rank have also been updated. Games played after your last competitive update during a season will still count towards your final seasonal rank. So basically what that means is if you're in between that 5-win, spread, and you stop at like 3 wins, those wins will still count, and you'll get like an updated roll at the end. That is actually still true. Like, that hasn't changed. They've gotten better with it, but I think just saying it helps clarify things. You must still complete the seasonal's competitive play qualification challenge to receive bonus competitive points. So you basically have to, do the basic challenge and get placed and stuff like that. So like if you play 3 maps and win all 3 and then stop, you're not going to get your competitive points. Or if you lose, 5 games and don't get that update, same thing. You have to actually be placed. Ending in bronze will now earn you 300, silver 450, gold 600, platinum 800, diamond 1,000, masters 1,200, and grandmasters 1,500. So how much are the skins? Let's see, shop. No, it's under heroes, isn't it? Let's see. Aura, weapons. So 3,000 for a skin. So even finishing Grandmaster only gets you halfway to a skin, and it looks like they raised up the bottom. So if you're silver, gold, plat, and diamond, you actually make out much better than you were before. Masters, you're about the same. You lose 50, and Grandmasters, you actually lose 250. So that's if you're Grandmaster, most likely you have all the gold guns you want. So these lower skilled players, or I guess lower tiered players, even though lower skilled is right, are rewarded a little more at the end of the season. So no more, piddly, 65 points if you're bronze. You can actually, save up 10 seasons and actually get a golden gun if you want. So that's kind of cool. I'm gonna take a drink. Much better. Seasonal challenge titles. Seasonal competitive titles earned from challenges now distinguished between whether they were earned in open queue or roll queue. For example, ending in diamond rank in open queue or earn you diamond open challenger and otherwise diamond roll challenger. Good to know. This is something some people really cared about and other people didn't care about at all. But I think it is important to distinguish them, because you need to know, is that person, 5-stacking in open queue and, getting up to diamond or masters, or are they, 5-stacking in roll queue? I guess. I don't know. Just kind of a clarification change. Competitive match rank. The initial loading screen that shows all participants of the competitive matches will now show an icon at the top of the screen representing the average skill tier and division of all players in the match. This should provide players with a better comparison of their own rank to other players in the match. I think this is good. They didn't want to show individual rankings, so this is a good way around it. So you get in a game and your team is labeled Masters 1 and you are Diamond 1. You know that you are probably the lowest person on the team, and vice versa. If you're, in low Grandmasters and you get in there and you can kind of figure out that you're the best person on the team. I think this is good. More information is, to me, always better. So the fact that they don't show individual skill tiers is kind of a little weird, but at least we're getting something. Whew. Seasonal rank decay removed. Starting with Season 4, a player's competitive rank will no longer be reduced at the beginning of the season. Furthermore, the effects of this reduction of rank from previous seasons will also be removed. Depending on how many games I played during the previous season, most players will see their skill tier and division increase. Okay, so this is a big one. So this is retroactive, effectively. So if you've played every Overwatch 2 ranked season from the beginning to now, you may realize that your rank is a lot lower, unless you've climbed through sheer force of will. Your rank is a lot lower than what you expected it to be, or what it used to be, and you may not be that rank, because what happened is initially they gated everybody wrong and everybody was lower, so then they had to raise it up. But then as soon as they started raising it up, boom, rank decay came in and lowered it again, and then you had to raise yourself up, and then they lowered it again. So there were literally Grandmaster players in Diamond rank, even though their MMR still said they were Grandmaster. So what this should do is this should wipe out those rank decays completely. So that Grandmaster player, even though he hadn't played much the last couple of seasons and it still showed him as Diamond, next time he goes through and does his placements and gets his 5 wins, it will show him as Grandmaster again, assuming that he should be placed as such. So that's actually really cool. A player's skill tier and division from the beginning of Season 4 will now closely match the matchmaker's estimate of your current skill. So what they're doing is they're just tightening, the gap between this and MMR. So that's really good. Let's read the developer comments. The previous seasonal rank decay was causing considerable confusion for players who would see players in their competitive games who did not appear to be similar rank. Kind of that Grandmaster example I gave earlier. Often these players were actually of similar skill, but they had not played enough games during the season to compensate from the initial decay. So exactly what I just said. There you go. All right. Obviously, we haven't hit the spicy stuff yet, so we'll read this last one, and then we get into the spice. Competitive skill update and progression. Both the competitive progress and competitive update screens will now include information about the player's losses as well as ties as their wins. I read that all wrong, but you get the idea. Oh no! Kick me out of Overwatch. All right, we'll just close that out. All right, so both competitive progress and competitive update skins will now include information about a player's losses and ties as well as their wins. So just updating more information. The competitive update screen will also now provide players with an indication of their current percentage progress within a skill division. Okay. This will hopefully make it more clear how the results of the games played during the update affect the skill tier and division. So what are you going to get? Like a little line that's like, oh, you did really good until you hit this loss streak, and then you tanked, and then you did really good again. I'll have to see how that looks, but more information the better. It is possible for players to have a positive win-loss record but not go up a skill division because the progress occurs entirely within a single division. So that basically just says, like, if you're bronze 4 and you win 5 games, you could still be bronze 4 at the end, but instead of being at the bottom of bronze 4, you're at the top of bronze 4 kind of thing. A new message will allow players to see that they did in fact make positive progress, just not enough to reach a new skill or division. Okay. I mean, kind of what I just said. There is also a similar message with competitive updates for players who are Grandmaster 1 but not yet top 500. This should provide those players with feedback about their progress to earning a spot on that top 500 leaderboard. Okay, cool. Cool. I'm gonna had a Discord message, so let's check that out. All right, let's get these spicy changes, hopefully. All right, tank Reinhardt. Armor health has been reduced from 300 to 250. Base health increased from 175 to 200. Reinhardt has been overperforming after a recent increase to his offensive capabilities. Those changes have been playing well, so to adjust his overall power, we're reducing his overall health through his armor reduction. So yeah, he actually will take a 25 health total reduction, and he's losing 50 armor. So Ryan is going to be a lot squishier now. So we'll see what the other changes are, but I don't think that bodes well for Reinhardt players. Sigma accretion impact damage reduced from 60 to 40, 80 damage total with the explosion, so a 20 damage nerf. Knockdown duration increased from 0.8 to 1.1. Okay, so they're buffing the CC, which is a little dangerous, but reducing the damage. So it's going to be you actually can't one-shot. I guess you can still one-shot 200 HP heroes, but you've got to be like dead on there, because it was 100 damage total with the rock, and then 120 with the orbs if you landed both of them directly. Like Roadhog's Chain Hook, Sigma's accretion and primary fire combo can be highly lethal and can feel like a guaranteed kill against 200 health targets. We're reducing the damage slightly to require an additional volley of the primary fire, but are also increasing the stun duration to provide allies with more opportunity to follow up. Wait, so is his... Is his primary fire only 100 now? Did I miss that somewhere? 2 charges burst, 55 direct damage, 9 through 30 splash damage. So yeah, I thought it was 110. Okay, so I said 120, but it's 110. So yeah, that would kick it out of that range. So yeah, so no more one-shot combo with Sigma. So that's actually a huge nerf to Sigma, because one of Sigma's saving graces, I guess, at my level and even higher up, I guess, is that if like a flanker gets in your back line, you could always just hit them with the rock and one-shot them, assuming it's not Tracer, because you can still do that to Tracer. Yeah, that's actually a pretty significant nerf to Sigma. And that's it for tank changes. So in a vacuum, looking at these two, I think we're going to see a lot of Reinhardt and a lot of Ramatra. Or not Reinhardt. I think we're going to see Winston and Ramatra. Wrecking Ball is still always a threat for people who are really good at him. Huh. That's interesting. I think Sigma's going to be a lot less dangerous, so we could see him lose his spot on some of the maps that he's played on, like Casino Royale. I know that's not the name, but that's what I call it. Diva could be pretty good right now. Zarya could creep back up there, although I still don't think she's great. So yeah, I think it's going to be Winston and Ramatra. You're either going to go for the dive or you're going to go for the brawl. But let's see what other changes we have. Ooh, damage. Cassidy. Base health reduced from 225 to 200. He's going back to Thin McCree. Oh, and they nerfed the magnetic grenade. Damage reduced from 131 to 120. Magnetic grenade only requiring one additional primary fire shot after sticking to a target was too reliable to execute on. Oh, almost like a flashbang. Even though it only works at close range, we're reducing the total damage of magnetic grenade, evenly split between direct damage and explosion. The reduced fall-off damage buff
his primary fire received recently enables Cassidy to play from safer engagement ranges now, so reducing his health back to 200. That's a big buff. That's a big nerf to McCree. Not McCree, Cassidy. I'm sorry, I still do that. I am sorry. OG Overwatch player. This, I think, could knock him out of the meta right now. We could see the return of 76, or we could realistically see Ashe come in more, depending on the map. I think once the map pulls go away, we're going to see Widow a lot less, unless you're on a specific Widow map. Sombra, EMP can now disable Blizzard. We are expanding what Sombra's EMP turns off to keep it consistent with how it affects other device-controlled ultimates. Okay, I mean, that's like a non-change. So that's it for DPS. I actually think DPS right now are in probably one of the best states they've ever been in, outside of the map pool with Widowmaker. So once the map pool is gone, which they said should happen in this one, although I haven't seen that, so maybe that's later in the patch notes. Yeah, I mean, I think you'll be able to play pretty much whatever you want depending on the comp. I think McCree is going to be a lot less, I don't want to say viable, because I still think he's viable. I think what they said down here about the fact that he can play a little further back now is okay. And the fact that his dodge roll still reduces damage is good. So we'll have to see how that one plays out. The Sombra change, like I said, nothing. All right, support. Sleep Dart, maximum duration on tank heroes reduced 30% from 5 to 3.5 seconds. This is significant. Let's read what they say. We've been watching how effective Sleep Dart has been in 5v5 gameplay. It hasn't been overly disruptive as a whole, but since it is significantly more reliable to land against tank heroes due to their large hitboxes, and even more valuable to do so with only one tank on the field, we're reducing the maximum duration against those targets. So this is interesting. This is, I think, the first time that they've targeted an ability to a specific role outside of the passives, of course. So we'll have to see how this plays out, but this is an interesting nerf to Ana. I don't think it'll be enough to change her spot in the meta, unless Doomfist becomes meta, because, you know, sleeping a Doomfist, sleeping, you know, those dive tanks for, 5 seconds was huge. Sleeping, a brawl tank could be big, but usually so much stuff is going on in the brawl that they get woken up pretty soon afterwards anyway. And the fact that this doesn't change the timing on DPS is actually really interesting, because it's still going to be a very effective counter to like Genji Blade, Tac Visor, High Noon, Sojourn Ult, so I'm curious to see how this plays out. I don't think it'll, like I said, I don't think this will be enough to take away her spot in the meta, because she does have, she's not the best healer in every situation, but she can be a really strong healer. All right, Brigitte. So let's see this rework. Whew, I'm gonna let's take a drink before we get into this. Yeah. All right, Rally. Brigitte now gains 100 restorable armor health pool for the duration of Rally. Is that instant? It has to be. Brigitte no longer gradually builds temporary health like her nearby allies. Okay, so yes, it is instant for her, but not for her teammates. Okay, so this is just like, boom, mini Sigma shield or Hammond shield, right? For 100 health, and it's restorable. So if some of it gets knocked out, it will build up gradually, like it used to. Rally now upgrades her barrier shield, increasing both its size and its health. Barrier health is increased from 300 to 750 during her ultimate, so that's almost a Reinhardt shield, because I think Reinhardt's is 900 now. During Rally, Shield Bash now impacts multiple enemies and stuns them. Okay, so she's getting some of her CC back. Bonus movement speed reduced from 30 to 15%, so she's slower. Repair pack range reduced from 30 to 25. Rally lost some of its power with the change from granting additional armor to temporary health, and overall took a relatively long time to build up its defensive benefits. It's true, you would pop Rally before a fight, build it up, and then go in, rather than popping it during a fight and hoping to, beef up your allies. Because it wasn't armor anymore, enemy teams could still chunk through that. Even with Brigitte, you could chunk through that. This rework is intended to keep it as a defensive ultimate ability, but with more immediate impact due to gaining an increased armor health pool up front. Oh, that's true. So she gets armor, but her teammates get temporary bonus health. So it's still much better for her. It's about the same for everybody else, except for she has the enhanced barrier. This rework is intended to keep it as a defensive ultimate ability, but with a more immediate impact due to gaining the increased armor health pool up front and the enhanced barrier, which can be utilized to block for teammates while their temporary health builds or interrupt enemies with a stun. Boom, there you go. Oh, Mercy. Caduceus Staff. Healing per second increased from 45 to 55, so they're reverting the nerf, but they're also taking it away so that it no longer has increased healing under half health. Excellent. Cooldown reduced from 2.5 to 1.5. Jump and crouch cancel active ability state duration increased from 1 to 1.5. Jump and crouch cancel active ability state can no longer be manually interrupted to begin the cooldown early. Okay, so Guardian Angel nerf reverted, but they're making it a little harder to do the floopy doopy. Yes, that's a technical term. Floopy doopy back and forth Mercy Guardian Angel nonsense. So we'll have to see how that plays out. I am not a Mercy main, so if you are a Mercy main, comment on this to see, what you think will change. Valkyrie, support role passive healing is now active for the duration of Valkyrie. Was it not? That's interesting. So she's going to be even harder to kill during Valkyrie. The recent increase to Guardian Angel's jump cancel mobility still needs to be kept in check in some way. But while the last iteration was simple, it also had some unintended effects, such as not being ready to use Guardian Angel again after flying in and using Resurrect. I know that's the big thing a lot of Mercy players complain about, is it was too hard to get Resurrect off and then get back out again like it used to be. This revision provides more flexibility and allows Mercy to opt into an additional 1.5 second cooldown when using the increased mobility from the jump, crouch, cancel options, or otherwise waiting for the base cooldown time. The increased healing multiplier condition on Caduceus Staff was intended to help Mercy players feel more agency in trying to save critical health allies and add depth to the healing mechanic without changing the total time to heal to full health. However, the overall rebalance of the healing values received significant negative feedback, both from those playing as Mercy and those playing against it. Channeled a little Mike Tyson there. There wasn't a satisfying middle ground where we could reduce the potency of this effect while still having it feel impactful, so we're reverting it. Excellent. They realized something is not working, so they changed it back. Okay, cool. Moira, Fade can now be activated during what? What? Coalescence. Bonus movement speed reduced from 50 to 40%. Biotic Grasp. Lingering heal duration increased from 2 to 3 seconds. What? Does it cancel the ultimate? It's got to cancel the ultimate, right? Like, really? Because, like, Coalescence was, like, for anybody who doesn't know or had trouble hitting a Moira, Coalescence is like an awesome time to kill a Moira with burst damage because it's one of the few times she can't just flip out of there. So now that she can do that, she's going to be much harder to kill, assuming that it cancels the ultimate. Like there is a trade off there, so that's good. The Spiotic Grasp lingering heal duration increase from 2 to 3 seconds is interesting. I don't think that'll make a huge difference, but we'll have to see what the numbers look like. Being able to fade during a Coalescence ultimate gives Moira more playmaking ability by being able to reposition even more quickly and avoid potential threats with quick reactions. Due to the more spread out playstyle 5v5, we're increasing the lingering heal duration of her primary fire, meaning it will heal more in total. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. We got to see the numbers. But it makes her healing much more effective. So overall, pretty interesting changes. Like Mercy's going to be fairly good and not unkillable anymore during Valkyrie, although it's still kind of hard to kill with the support role passive. Briggs rework, I don't even know if I'd call it a rework. Like it's just like an upgraded ultimate. I don't know. We'll have to see how that plays out. Like I think she could be really good in brawl comps. But we'll have to see. Ooh, excuse me. Getting late here. We'll have to see how she does with Lifeweaver, because obviously Lifeweaver is coming in as well. So that's going to shake up the whole support meta to a point. We'll see how strong he is. But meta-wise, I think this is way too early knee-jerk reactions as promised. This to me looks like we're gonna see Winston and Ramattra on tank, with the occasional ball sprinkled in. If you're going Winston, you're gonna see like a dive team of Tracer, Sombra. If you're playing Ramattra, you will probably see that May comp. You may see Reaper sneak back in, Bastion, Hanzo. A lot of the characters that are currently like meta-ish, depending on the comp and the map, weren't really touched. So outside of Reinhardt, so we'll see that. Support-wise, like I said, supports are tough. I think Ana's still going to be good. I think turn the music down a little bit. I think Brig could be interesting in certain brawl comps because of the ultimate, but it still doesn't make up for her general healing, especially since her range was reduced. Mercy at high level play is always niche but doable. The Moira changes, I'm really interested to see how they play out, because Moira was already like decent at most ranks, so we'll see. Otherwise, meta's looking pretty good. All right. General updates. Map pools have been disabled. There we go. All maps are now in rotation. That's exactly what I was talking about. New arcade map. Talantis. You designed it. We built it. An underwater talon base with jump pads, pit traps, giant fish, and waterfalls. Talantis will be playable for a limited time from April 25th to May 1st. New map lighting. So we're going to point out New Queen Street is morning, dawn. Hollywood is night. Ooh, Hollywood at night. I love Hollywood at night. I know they say that's new, but it comes around during the Halloween event. Oh, I love Hollywood at night. Otherwise, nothing crazy. Like we're getting Old Night Dorado back. Havana at night is cool. Junkertown in mornings. Yeah. Ooh, Watchpoint Gibraltar in the evening could be good, depending on the sun. Lijiang Tower at night, which is actually normal. Busan morning. Yeah, so nothing crazy. Workshop updates. There are 3 new workshop actions allowing you to create either a fully functional projectile or a cosmetic projectile. Okay. Kind of cool. All right. Finally, let's round this out with some bug fixes. Fixed a bug in competitive mode that resulted in rank up animation playing when a player was actually ranking down. Oh, oof. That is a big old oof right there. You imagine be like, yay, I went up to a rank below me. Interesting. Fixed a bug with relative aim sensitivity, was able to set a value of 0. Blah 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 blah. Oh, streamer mode is arguably already useless, but the bug made it super useless. Fixed a bug that prevented you from navigating the endorsement UI while on the challenge progress screen. Interesting. Alright, let's check out the bugs on maps. Circuit Royale, lighting issues, Stuck, New Queen Street, lighting issues, Oasis, blocked players. I haven't seen that. Oh, they fixed the ledges in Shambhala Monastery that you could get to. Heroes, the Rajin. Oh, had a hiccup. Look at that. The Rajin skin has been adjusted so that Ash's Viper no longer takes up a large amount of screen space when scoped in. Okay. Some abilities were able to interact with it. Okay, that's interesting. Fixed a bug where Bastion's attack animations could appear sped up, though they actually weren't after the effects of Kitsune Rush expired. So I guess it still thought you were in Kitsune, even though the damage values were right. Alright, here we go. Cassidy. Cassidy has been a hot topic due to the Marbler video. Fixed a bug with Cassidy's Deadeye not taking armor mitigation into account, which resulted in a killing blow before the enemy was marked with the skull. Fix a bug where the damage of Deadeye could be multiplied by reacquiring the same target before Deadeye completed. Okay, so this is the bug Marbler, made popular, I guess. So what you could do is you could go back and forth on the target, and instead of Deadeye like casually, zooming in, it would be like, boom. So good to know that's fixed. Fixed an issue with Seismic Slam not always resetting. That register when used on uneven surfaces. That's good because I don't play a lot of Doomfist, but a couple times I did notice that there were certain ledges and stuff that I hit the edge of the ledge and it wouldn't register. Genji, interesting. Mercy, Orisa. Honestly, nothing. I'm not seeing too much. That was a big one. I did notice that one because there were a couple times I ran into a Sombra, and I'd get the detected, but I couldn't hear the footsteps. I did see this one on stream. I think it was Seagull. It was just interesting. Oh, Tracer hard mode. So that's good. Alright, I think that's it. Oh, man. It is apparently late tonight. So, overall, pretty good looking patch. I'm interested to see where the meta goes. Like I said, I think honestly not too much is going to change. So if there's a hero you like, I think they'll still be playable. I think the only one that's going to get like a decent chunk out of playtime would probably be Reinhardt, because he's going to be a lot easier to kill. Although with the Brig changes, maybe we'll see some changes there, but otherwise seems like a good patch. We'll see how things shape up. So let's see, we didn't talk about Life Weaver, so let's go over here for a second. Now you can see Overwatch is closed. Let's see. Life Weaver skills. All right, we're gonna check out this Marbler video because I think he did the best job of showing Lifeweaver skills. So Healing Blossom, for anybody who don't know, is a charged healing. So you actually, it kind of reminds me of like Baptiste boots. You hold it down, it charges up to 65, and then you let it go. It has a pretty generous range. So if you go, you can see if you go outside, it will still go there. This is adjustable, but right now it is adjustable with one other thing, like they're tied together, and that kind of threw it off. I think it was Life Grip. So yeah, that hopefully will be changed, because right now, like, you can adjust the sensitivity, so you either have to be like right on them or not on them exactly. And what that can do is that can cause some problems with you want to heal them, so obviously you want the most generous, I guess, area on your screen where you will still land your heals, because it is a tracking heal. Like, as long as you have that diamond, it will track to that person. The problem is, if you want to life grip a specific person and there are multiple people there, it can be hard to target which one you want to life grip, assuming you're not trolling. And right now you have to set the sensitivity together, so it doesn't, like, it basically counteracts each other. Like, so hopefully they separate that. I don't think it'll be in time for the patch, but down the line I hope they separate that, because obviously you want a generous healing window and a not so generous life grip window, so you're making sure you're life gripping the right person. But you can see, charging up starts at 10, goes up to 65. It is a projectile, so it does interact with things like you would expect it would. So like Genji deflects it, and then it just dissipates. Orisa's Spear eats it. Sigma, Absorb eats it. Diva eats it. But it does go through shields, as far as I know. So you can see the overall healing is not crazy. Before we get to the next one, let's finish talking about this. The overall healing doesn't look very crazy, because you have to charge it up. But we'll have to see in game how that feels, because we kind of felt the same way about Kiriko initially in the beginning, but her single target healing was quite good. So we'll see how it plays out. So you actually have to switch weapons with him. He's very similar to Mercy. So it's not like Moira where you have one hand attack, one hand protect kind of thing. It is, exactly like Mercy. Like, if you want to heal, you use your healing, and then you would have to, mouse wheel or hit number 2, and you would go to the DPS, which is the Thorn Volley. Which, for anybody who has played Halo, looks exactly like the Needler without the explosion, which I'm kind of sad about. I thought that would be kind of cool to give it a Needler vibe. It doesn't track like the Needler does, because the Needler had minor tracking capabilities, but it shoots 2 thorns per press. Each thorn does 5 base damage, or 10 damage per crit, so it can do a decent amount of damage. It's not absurd, but it can definitely do some work if you're hitting it. And there is no fall off damage for it. The only caveat is it has quite a spread to it, so the further away you get, it's going to be much harder to hit any target with reliability. So this is going to be like a mid to close range thing. Like if you can get up in someone's face safely, he can do some work. And then, as we'll see, he'll be able to get out of that fairly regularly. So next up is the pedal platform. This is obviously one of the big things everybody's talking about. Vertical mobility in this game, it's huge. So this pedal platform, you know, you throw it on the ground. When it is on the ground, it lasts indefinitely, like forever. So you can throw it on the ground and leave it there until it's used, and then throw another one. So that's kind of cool. You can't have two out at the same time, but you know, after the first one goes up and you're done with it, you can throw a second one down, and the first one will go away. But you'll have that cooldown available. So this will be really interesting because it has a lot of really cool interactions. Like it can block Diva Bomb, it can block Orisa Ult, like you saw in the trailer. You know, it can. It just has some interesting stuff. It does have a life bar, so it does count as, you know, a physical object. So if you were on top of that and like Lucio beats underneath, you could theoretically miss that you know, sound barrier. But really the big interaction for this is you can, you know, obviously get people to the high ground or give people high ground that don't normally have access to it. And one cool tech that all the streamers are showing off, but I saw it on Seagull's stream and Flats's stream, is as you reach the pinnacle of the height, you can jump and get like a Baptiste bounce off of the top of it, so you get even more height. So this is going to be crazy with Widowmakers just popping out of nowhere, or like Ashes, or you know, stuff like that. So the high ground is really interesting. Some key things to know is to activate the high ground, it has to be like a player. The only one I'm not sure about is Bob. I think Bob might activate it as well. But like turrets don't activate it, teleporter doesn't activate it, stuff like that. So Diva Bomb will not activate it if Diva is not in it. Now obviously if Diva's in it, it will activate. So pretty cool. You can see it gives a pretty decent amount of high ground. And it lasts for, I think, 5 seconds, 4 or 5 seconds, maybe 6 seconds. I don't know, 4 to 6 seconds. And it does have a 400 health bar. So pretty decent if you need a quick shield. Life rejuvenating dash. So this one is cool because it is a small, quick dash that also heals him for 25. And it is on a low cooldown. It is on a 5-second cooldown. So he can be zipping around the battlefield, healing himself up. So sustained damage will be very good against him. Poke damage will be very good against him. But he can zip around. It is not like Moira's Fade or Reaper's you know, Wraith form. CC does still work on him. It doesn't cleanse him of anything. He can't get out of grab with it, you know, kind of thing. Oh, pedal platform. You can actually get yourself out of grab with pedal platform. If you throw it directly beneath you, it will lift you out of the grab. So fun interaction there. Otherwise, just a cool little dash that heals you. Life grip. All right, so this is the one everybody's talking about. This is the one that they talked about could be some light trolling. So we'll play this and then we're going to talk about it. All right, life grip. There you go. See it? You literally yoink a player within range. You have to have. You can see he gets the little, you know, diamond. So it's the same range as your healing. So as long as they are within range of your healing, you can life grip them. You literally reach out, grab them, and pull them. While you are pulling them, they are immune, and that means they cannot take damage, and they cannot be CC'd. I have to sneeze. Okay, it went away. So I am sure it will come back at the most inopportune time. But yes, they are immune, so they cannot be CC'd and they cannot be damaged. It does not cleanse, though. So if they are already antied, slept, anything like that, that will not change. It will just move them closer to you. There is some anti-griefing measures in place, but they are not foolproof. So, like, if you pull a player to a ledge, they will appear basically beside you or behind you. You cannot pull them into the ledge purposefully. Now you put them right on the edge so they could absolutely just walk in there. The other thing is, like on well, I saw it done. If you jump over the well, pull, and then dash back, that will pull them into the well. But you've got to, like, you really got to be trolling to do that. So I'd imagine Blizzard is going to be really looking out for people that are actively trolling with this ability, plus the fail safes they put in. So we'll see what we can do. Like the bigger instance is of trolling is like Winston goes to jump in and you keep pulling him back. A Genji goes into blade, and before he pulls the blade out, you pull him back, or after he pulls the blade out, like during the unsheathing animation, I think it's Emong showed that you cannot pull him back. He's kind of like immune during that, so that's kind of cool. So we'll have to see the amount of trolling. I think this is a really powerful tool in the right hands because you can save certain people from certain doom, but obviously the troll factor is there. So we'll have to see, how it plays out. Parting gift. Okay, so this is kind of first of its kind. It's a death passive that affects both teams. So the only other death passive we have is Junkrat's Total Mayhem, where he drops the bombs that could do damage. This actually drops a flower petal, and it functions basically as a health pack. So it heals your teammates for 250, but it only heals enemies for 75, I believe. So it is much reduced, but it can make a big difference in a fight. So if you're in a duel with a Life Weaver and you win out, that's you could continue dueling if you can pick up that health pack, or if the enemy team picks it up, that might be time to, dip out. So that's kind of cool. So finally up, we have his ultimate, which is Tree of Life. So we'll go ahead and play this. As cool as it looks, I don't think it's very strong. Like, I think the line of sight is good, but it can be shredded. Like it has the same HP as Bob, which is 1,000. It does act as line of sight, so you can line of sight like Diva Bomb. You can line of sight Junkrat Tire, Beat, Shatter, all that kind of stuff. So what it does is you put this tree up. Like I said, it acts as line of sight. It does an initial heal of 150 immediately, and then it pulses out like 100 every couple seconds, like every 1.75 seconds. It's not a lot. Like if you watch Wrecking Ball's health, it takes quite a while for him to heal up. It might even be less. It might only be 75. So that's what it is. Thank you, Marbler. That was a great video. Check out Marbler's stuff. His stuff is quite cool. So that is Life Weaver. Let's see. Normally I would change that, but lifeweaver.exe. Frogger's already up there. ML7. I have not checked out this dev chat, so I do want to watch that, but it is an hour and a half long, so I am not going to do that tonight. So we'll have to see. Um, you know what they talk about there. Let's see. They talk about the Cassie changes, Lifeweaver details, rapid fire questions, final thoughts. So you know that will probably be something we cover on the show next week. Other than that, I don't think we can go through the trailer. I guess let's we'll let's resize this a little bit so you can see the whole thing. We'll throw me down at the bottom. We will cut the music, turn that on. All right, let's go. Oh, can you not hear that? I see. Let's turn that up. All right, so we'll start it from the top.
Ready? I am.
There's that Baptiste boost I was telling you about.
Look at us. We're amazing.
A
Highlight intro.
well-trained shot.
Skins. All right, so we'll stop it here. We've got. There we go. We got victory pose, victory pose, victory pose, victory pose and skin, victory pose and skin, victory pose and victory pose. Other than that, I don't see any new skins here other than these two.
Lone Rose gets plucked.
Chaos be upon you.
We got Pinocchio Zenyatta, which looks amazing. Cardboard Reinhardt. Cardboard Reinhardt, I am all for. Like this looks awesome. All right, we get a sneak peek at some of the new skins. We get another Lifeweaver skin. We get like a Harley Quinn-esque Widowmaker, Omnic, Junkrat, and Roadhog. Which I hope they come with new voice lines for these that kind of mention that they are robots and that the Junkers are out to get them. Would be kind of funny because there are a lot of Junkrat voice lines and not really Roadhog, but mostly Junkrat voice lines that mention how he wants to scrap the bots and stuff. Pinocchio Zenyatta just still great. This skin looks amazing.
No one escapes gravity. The universe
Getting
is
strong and
magnificent,
bison
isn't it?
vibes. Lots of different changes, like every other.
And so the
Honestly, the first configuration I think looks the best, but we're not getting a good view.
stars align.
Your time.
We also get a look at the evil side of Starwatch, the Galactic Empire, as it will. The fact that they're pulling in Mercy and Sojourner, I think, is cool. Although the Sojourner skin looks like an epic. Like, I'm not gonna lie, that does not look like a legendary. Even the Mercy skin, maybe. 76 also could be a legendary skin, but could be an epic
Time
skin.
is up.
However, these skins look awesome, and they are all legendary. We've got Hammond that looks like some kind of alien. We got, like a Prince Lucio kind of vibe here, like an Alderaan-esque vibe. We've got Torbjorn, who reminds me a lot of Barf from Spaceballs, and then Doomfist, who just looks like, you know, a generic bruiser type alien.
You big
The Rebel Alliance, basically.
wrong side.
We also get a Winston skin. I missed this in our TikTok and YouTube short. But yes, there is an alien Winston skin.
Stars, what a shot!
Spend every
The Lifeweaver event skin. Looks fairly close to his regular
moment
skin.
growing into who you truly are.
Talantis. So this is the one we were talking about. This I hope is like a rough rendering, because this does not look great. But it, you know, it looks like a deathmatch map. Symmetric challenge where you can earn a Symmetra skin. Obviously, this is very Mayflower-esque, so pretty cool.
Cheers, love!
Pride Month, obviously.
The cavalry's here! I will be
There's the thick shield for Brigitte.
your shield.
Cyberpunk Tracer.
Keep up with this!
I like these odds.
Enjoy the
That I wanted to pause here because I think this is a Star Watch skin as well. Ash and Bob. They definitely seem like they are like the Han Solo-esque pair. Also, Horizon. Way back in here. Full Bastion intro.
I saw what you could be.
United by compassion.
As long as we stick together, we will make
A new possibility.
for everyone.
Nice little mixing of the voice line there, so that's pretty cool. You know, at the end we got, you know, a new Brig skin. That one looks awesome. I don't know about the Echo skin. That one looks like an epic. Tracer could be a legendary, could be an epic. And then finally we got Ramatra. That definitely looks like an epic skin. It looks like just a recolor. Season 4, April 11th. And then we're going to get... Yeah, he's giving me like strong M. Bison vibes. But it looks awesome. I'm all for it. So, yeah, I think that's it. We will pop back over. You know, I can pop my background back on there. So we went about an hour and 15 minutes tonight. That's pretty good, I guess. Actual hour for the stream. Whoop, click that. I think that'll do it for us tonight. So I don't want to go too late tonight because it is an off week, and frankly, I've had a long day. So had to go into the city this morning for like a doctor's appointment, and then I had to work, which is always fun. And then I took the kids to see the Super Mario movie, and you know, all along battling seasonal allergies and thunderstorms and severe storm warnings. And so I think I'm going to cut it here tonight. You know, obviously these in-between show streams will vary on what we talk about, what we do. You know, we may play more games regularly. Obviously this week we had a lot of stuff to talk about and stuff that we can't fit all into the show in the amount of detail that, you know, I wanted to talk about it in. So, you know, I figured I'd do something like this. Next week, we do have the podcast, so we will obviously talk about, you know, the patch notes, you know, the seasonal start. We'll get our hands on Lifeweaver. I should have the Lifeweaver video out either by the show or shortly after the show. I'm targeting Friday, but I never know how busy work is going to be. So if work is really busy that week, you know, it may not come out until Friday. But Friday is like my end date. Like I said on the show last week, I kind of have the video not edited because obviously I don't have the footage yet, but I have like the bare bones structure laid out of how I want to do it, which is, planning is a big part of the process. And yeah, so it will most likely be like a, hey, this is Lifeweaver in 5 or 10 minutes type style video. Those were popular in the past. If you want more in-depth breakdown, you don't want to hear it from me. I'm not top 500. You want somebody that's actually good at the game to tell you how to play. So it'll be like an overview, like, hey, here, kind of like what we did tonight, but a little more in depth, but not super crazy, like strategery in depth. So other than that, I think that's it for announcements. We will see you next week. I will probably aim to start around the same time, like 9:30, 10 o'clock Eastern time for the pre-stream, and then obviously the show is at 11. Be sure to check us out on YouTube and Twitch. This VOD will be available on both. I will probably break this up and put, at least the patch notes portion in its own video, assuming nothing crazy happened with it. So, yep. Other than that, I think we are going to say goodnight.